Oh,
It is disgusting here in Ontario. It is so hot here in Ontario. It's awful.
it's raining constantly here.
Okay, never mind.
I don't think
Never mind.
summer has started.
Okay, all right. You can take some of ours.
I would love to. Want to trade spots.
Welcome everyone to Spirit Cafe Sessions with just Nikki.
Kim still? Maybe still
I
Kim.
never know if you're gonna do Still Kim or Kim Still.
I don't either.
Um, this is our 46th episode,
Mm.
I think.
Oh,
No, 47th. I can't remember
I
because
don't
we're
know.
almost to our 50th. But
Oh.
excellent news. Huge, huge, huge thank you to all of our new subscribers because
Hmm.
we are at, as of right now, 210 on YouTube, which I know for some people is not a big number, but our goal was 200 by the end of the month, and we beat that by 3 days. 3 days, right? Or 4 days almost, yeah.
Hmm.
And our goal is 500 by the end of summer, which
Yes.
we can get to way before that, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
probably can because look what you guys are doing for us, which is
Hmm.
absolutely insane, and we are so thankful, and we love the comments, and we like the shares with our shorts and our other little tiny videos, and we'll keep doing those. I did pull for this week. It will be the second week of Mercury retrograde. So the cards actually make sense. And I did not pull tarot. I actually pulled from the Green Witch Oracle deck because I love this deck and I don't use it often. But it's all about plants and like
Plants.
vegetables and fruits. Yeah. So the Oracle and two came out, so I took them because they actually go very well together. This week, as we move into this week, we've got grounding and focus, the potato and stalk, which I
Okay.
love. I love it.
Mm.
Um, that makes a lot of sense because we are in a very weirdly emotionally intense retrograde because it's in the sign of Cancer. So people probably are a little bit emotional, and it kind of feels like everybody is losing their minds for one day, and the next day they're super happy, and the next day they're losing their minds again, and the next day they're super happy, and you're like, what the heck is going on?
We're
Just
14.
yeah. So plus, depending where you are in the world, the huge heat wave isn't helping with crankiness either, I'm sure. So
Or the
ground
rain. The
or the
constant
rain,
rain.
either works. Ground yourself as much as possible, guys, and you know
Mm.
how to do that. If you're a client of mine, I ram that down your throat. Meditate if you meditate, do yoga. Grounding, really, it doesn't have to be salt baths, it doesn't have to be egg cleanses and sage and palo santo. What it can be whatever you would like. What grounding is essentially something that makes you feel calm and centered, and you feel like yourself. And for some people that's reading a book, and for some other people it's taking a walk with their dog. So whatever it is that you know that calms you down and kind of gets you away from monkey mind, do that as much as possible for the rest of the month. It is going to help you focus on what is actually important, and please do not make any sudden or crazy decisions with this retrograde. A lot of decisions might be made at a drop of a hat emotionally, and some of them you might not be able to take back just because of the transits that we have. That's it. So you should never make a decision based on emotion anyway, right? Should always,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Be
yeah.
smart about it.
And I'm drinking tea when it's like 47 Celsius here, which I think is, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's
Where
insane.
I can tell you that when I was in Turkey uh, several years ago, I won't say how long ago, but it was a while ago, and it was very hot. It was over 50
Oh,
most days. And when we would go into the shops, they would give us tea, and drinking warm tea would
yeah.
actually help you cool down.
Yeah, it does. It cools me down.
Hmm.
People think I'm crazy. There's a lot of people I know that actually do it anyway, but there are some people who think I'm crazy, but it really did cool me down. I have air conditioning, so it's fine, but I don't like air conditioning. It's so bad for you, but I have it on because I'm not nuts. Um,
Well, it beats
but
the humidity.
yes, which is atrocious. Anyway, this episode.
Yes.
This episode is about reincarnation because we have so many people that ask us about past lives or lessons that have to be learned, or if reincarnation is real, if karma is real. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an entire episode about it, and it'll be talking about our beliefs with reincarnation, which are very similar, different types of other beliefs. I do have some stories. I actually did a couple of shorts on our YouTube, under 5-minute stories about real cases of documented reincarnation. Was it reincarnation or was it something else? Hop on over and listen to them because they're both really really fascinating stories. And I got another one which I saved for this episode. So yeah, let's just dive into it.
All right.
Let's dive into it. Everybody knows that we've talked about lessons, and we briefly touched upon, I guess, what some people would call reincarnation. Some people call it something else. And that is that when you reincarnate, what Kim and I essentially believe, and many people believe this, you choose the people in your life, the situations, the events, the circumstances, essentially, that you're going through. Because your soul, your consciousness is meant to evolve. And you're not going to evolve by staying comfortable your whole life. You don't learn anything that way. So, we do believe, as do many people out there, that that's essentially why we reincarnate, to learn these things and to become, better spirit energies, whatever consciousness, souls. And sometimes it takes a handful of reincarnations, and sometimes takes one if you're lucky. It's a reason why a lot of people, I know, people are like, oh, I've only reincarnated once before. Well, you haven't, but okay. But there's so many old souls. And also why I don't believe that when somebody tells me that they're a new soul. Because I'm not saying that they might not be, but highly improbable, just based on what we know of reincarnation or what's been studied about reincarnation or any other theories about reincarnation. Very skeptical that somebody would be, in a sense, a new soul. Right?
Yeah. To start off with, though, I just want to remind everyone about the episode we talked about, the soul in the cavern. And how,
Which I'm going to link in the description.
okay, and with the soul in the cavern, basically the synopsis is that you will, before you come here, you are looking for someone, you're looking for your people who are going to be your family, who are going to, be there. And those are people you don't really, maybe are kind of new to you. And it works down to the people who are going to do you harm and push out those lessons, and those things that you need to learn, that your soul is there to learn. And those are actually people in the spirit world who you've been with many times, and they love you dearly. So they say, if, what's better than, if someone's going to do you harm, if it's done by someone who loves you. And it's a really hard concept to kind of wrap your head around, but once you do, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. It definitely is. Reincarnation is one of the oldest beliefs that we have as a civilization, and also I think one of the profound and one of the most comforting, to be honest. And I like what Kim said about, we choose, in a sense, the people that we learn the lessons from. It does explain why so many people have those instant, if they're paying attention. Because sometimes I'll be the first one to admit, sometimes I don't pay attention, in that sense, and then it's only months later where somebody tells me, oh my God, you know what, I didn't want to say this, but when I first met you, I felt like I'd known you forever. It takes me a while to realize I felt that way too, but most of the time it's instant, right? And I think that has a lot to do with it, because your consciousness and your soul, it's recognizing this person, or this situation, because I cannot tell you how many times I've had clients and myself, even myself, deal with a situation and feel like I've been through it before, but I know I haven't, because I was a first-time mom in this life, or I didn't have that disease. I don't have that disease, so how do I know how to get rid of it? Like it's really odd and it's really weird when that stuff happens. But the more that you research it, and the more that you can sit with yourself in silence and stillness, because I to this day, I'm a huge researcher. Everyone knows this. I love it. I love reading, but when it comes to things like that, the best answers you get are always going to be in stillness.
Yeah.
Whether it's meditation, prayer, or just sitting there quietly, you will always get the best answers that way. I can't tell you how many people have experienced something like that, where they've went through something and they knew how to handle it, and then they come out being like, I don't know why I did that. I don't know how I knew how to do that. Like, I've never experienced that before, because there was some kind of recognition
Yeah.
from a past life, right?
Well, I know for me, as long as I can remember, I've just known how to do certain things. There's no YouTube. And when it started, there was no YouTube,
There was
and
no
there
YouTube.
was like no encyclopedias, and you just like there wasn't really a way to find out unless someone told you.
Yeah.
And so there's and still to this day, there's a lot of things that I just, even like remedies and stuff like that. I'll be like, oh, and it'll just come out of my mouth. Did you try this and this and this? And I'm thinking, why would I say that? And I'd look it up and go, oh my gosh, okay, like. So these are things that are in you, in your soul. They're living there. So
And they awaken. They awaken when you meet somebody for the first time, in quotations. Here, they awaken when you go through a situation for the first time. Here, deja vu. That's one of the biggest biggest debates we have, because there's some people who believe you're crossing timelines. There's some people who believe that there was a situation at play very similar to this in one of your past lives, right? So it's kind of a memory jolt, in a way, as I call it. Dreams, that always fascinates me, is when people tell me that they wake up and they've had this dream, where they were in the 1800s, and it was so real, and they felt like they could touch things, and they felt like they were having real conversations, and they felt the emotion, and they had no way to explain it. Some people believe that our dreams can tell or give us a little bit of hints of our past lives as well, which I also think is very fascinating. I personally can't remember that. I've also never had a reading or a session with someone who claims that they can tap into your past life. I'm sure that there are some legit people who can do that, and I'm sure there are some scammers, so be careful. But I've never had one of those sessions to try to figure out what my past life was. I don't know if I would want to, though.
I know I have, and I was kind of skeptical what was, and this was years, like decades ago. I was skeptical as to what I was remembering, because it seemed a
Hmm.
little bit odd, but it did feel kind of like it meant something. But I can tell you, I have had the fortune to meet a very beautiful soul, and she has actually become recently a certified belief code practitioner. So
Hmm.
she can bring you, if you like body pains, fears, uh, chronic illnesses, anything like that. She can bring you back, and you can go back to those
Just,
times and reset.
yeah,
And
I believe that.
I actually did that with her myself, and it was very fascinating.
I
Very
believe it.
fascinating. So I'm not sure if we could ever. She's in Ireland, so she's a little harder to
Ooh, okay.
sync up with.
Yeah.
But you know, I really wouldn't have believed that this could happen until because I'm like
Hmm.
that, right?
Hmm.
It was very, very neat, and it's what my personal. Just quickly, I tell you what it was for me is because I had this problem with like attachment. Like there was like a
Okay.
lot of us have that, and it brought me back like long, long time ago, that I had a baby that that was new, and I had been taken away by some people, and away from my baby, and I was I they had me like they were going to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was so upset because my baby was going to grow without me, and I was lost my baby, and there was a whole bunch to it, but I actually was able to talk and fix it. And it was the beginning of me starting to be able to do that. I'm not saying I'm perfect and it's always good work for me, but just to have that session and to kind of work with it's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. No, I believe it. I definitely believe it. There's so many stories like that out there where the patterns repeat through lives until they're healed or solved in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Because each lifetime teaches us each lifetime is supposed to teach us something different, but if the lessons aren't learned from previous lifetimes, a lot of spiritual theories is that they'll just repeat in this one on top of the new lessons that you have to learn, which to me absolutely makes sense. And then one of the main theories is that once you've learned enough lessons, or all the lessons you chose as a soul and to learn, then you're done. You have the option or the choice to not reincarnate and not experience this anymore, and just stay at peace, and to
Or
stay
ascend.
yeah, yeah, which I also think is amazing. And I get this question all the time in my readings. What lesson am I put here on earth to accomplish? What's my life goal? What's my life purpose? Everybody's life purpose is love, so always remember that. But number two, it's also different for every soul. And I'm very iffy about spiritual people unless they are trained, and unless they have the knowledge. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's not many out there. Nobody should be telling you 100% what your life purpose is. Okay? Some of them can lead you on the pathway so you can discover it, because like I said, they've been trained, whether it's with workshops, seminars, meditations, whatever, and they can lead you. But somebody telling you what your life purpose is, that's not, don't do that.
That's cultish.
Okay? Yeah, don't do that. Don't, they're wrong. I will die on that hill that they're wrong. Okay? If they're guiding you, that you've went to the right kind of person, because somebody who guides you can help you tap into those remnants of your soul, and you will figure out what your life purpose is yourself. Okay? Nobody can tell you what it is. So I get that question all the time, and I answer the same way. I'm not going to tell you because I don't know. Right?
Also with your
And
spirit guides, right? If someone says,
exactly.
"Oh, I can
Exactly.
tell you who your spirit guides are," well,
No.
no, no, they should not be. But they can put you, if you have someone who's qualified, they can put you in situations, put you through a meditation or whatever, so that you can, or to meet your spirit guides. Like Richard,
Yeah.
in I think episode 4 or something, that's so
Hmm.
long
Yeah.
ago. He did that for us, and he to meet your spirit guide. So don't believe anyone who says, "Oh yeah, this is your spirit guide, and this is doing this, and this is doing that,"
Hmm.
because they don't know.
No, they don't. They don't. And lessons, a lot of the times lessons can be small. They're not going to be something massive. Like 9 times out of 10, the lessons that you're meant to learn are things like to have courage, right? To teach compassion, to teach healing, to teach, it's rare that your mission, your purpose in life is to cure diabetes, or to cure cancer. There is someone's mission out there where that is their mission, to cure these diseases. But most often than not, it's smaller missions. But just because they seem smaller compared to someone who's on this earth to create AI, or launch us into space, it doesn't mean they're not important. Oftentimes they're more important than the person who's supposed to launch us into space, because to become brave, and to teach compassion, or whatever it is, that elevates on such a high vibrational energetic level. And it is such about love, like it is so about love. Do you know what I mean? And as a human race, that's what helps us heal on a collective level. So if your mission or your lesson in life is just, and I'm saying just because I've had people say this, well, I just feel like I'm meant to teach, I've had this, I'm meant to teach people just to be more compassionate. What do you mean just? Yeah, that's a huge thing,
But
because I
it's
hate
not
to
really
tell you.
you to be teaching anybody, it's you to be learning.
Exactly. Exactly. But if you're meant to teach people as a coach or a mentor or a spiritual leader and stuff, and you're meant to teach people how to, to compassion, that's not a small thing. That's a huge thing. Because whether you guys like it or not, people are not as compassionate as they claim to be. They aren't. And I'm not being pessimistic, but most people aren't.
So my beliefs of when you're choosing your lessons before you come to this plane, we're just like, I believe anyhow, we're just like we are here. You're going to want to pick the easiest things that
Yeah.
you can do, right? Like you're going to be like,
Yeah.
it's your first round. It's like, oh, you're going to learn to be rich and famous. And okay, I got it. Got this one. And you don't, if you knew how you were to learn your lessons, you probably wouldn't be picking them. But
Yeah.
as you go through each life, that you come back, you've crossed off other lessons. So you're gonna know if you're an older soul and you're kind of getting to you're getting to the nasty lessons, right? You're getting to these
Yeah.
lessons that are like really hard. They're they can be soul feeling like they're
Gut
soul
wrenching.
breaking. They can be
Yeah.
really really painful, and you're gonna continue to encounter this lesson, just how you see people who keep getting into one bad relationship after another,
Yeah.
and they're all seeming like the same type of people. That's because the person is not going through it, is not taking away and learning from that, and they're just going back in. So then it's like the whole situation where people are like, oh, I wish my life was different, but nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah. It's true.
So while you're here, that's the only thing you can control. And, instead of saying, oh my God, what did I do so wrong to get all this? Or why, why?
Hmm.
Say, what is this here to teach me?
Yeah. Big one.
This is really awful, and I'm feeling really awful. And be honest about your feelings, but say, what am I to learn from this? And just kind of sit back and think, what is this meant for me to learn? And once you learn it, you're gonna things are gonna change, and it will start to be like a domino effect, right? Like once you got it, it's like and then you go on to the next one, because heaven forbid you should just get them all done and then just be flying. No, there's gonna be another one.
Hmm.
But you're going to learn them, you're going to experience them, but go through them, like live them, go through them, embody them, and work them out to understand the lessons. you know uh would you rather have your kid driving a car after they've gone through and they've done the practicing and they've wrote the tests, and then they do the tests, and then and they're a good driver? Would you rather that happen, or just, oh, here's your driver's license as they walk up to the counter, and then like they drive away, right? You want to have lived it. You want to have the experience,
Hmm.
to get and learn something.
Yeah. It's true though.
And too many people here, and we've talked about this before, are like, we're the fast food generation. We're the
Yeah.
fast,
Quick, quick,
and it
quick,
gets
quick,
worse
quick.
and worse, right? Like, oh, I need to know answers for my bank now. In 1985, could you go pay your bills at 3 o'clock in the morning? No, but you sure are doing it now, keeping up on your time.
Hmm.
Instead of sleeping,
Hmm.
you're doing all
Hmm.
that stuff that
Yeah.
you would have had it. You would have respected yourself enough to have it prioritized to during the day, where not when you're trying to sleep, not when you're trying to do this stuff, because we're just trying to cram so many things in. And to us, success is having more and doing more, and just doing all that. And we're doing ourselves a disservice, because you're not learning any of those lessons.
Mm-mm.
You're just getting the license and going off, and you're probably going to have a few accidents.
You're bypassing. It's bypassing.
Hmm.
It's
And then
bypassing.
wonder why
Yeah.
you're not happy,
Exactly.
because you
I was
didn't
just gonna say it, and then
learn.
wonder why nothing changes, and you're miserable, and you start becoming miserable. I should say, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a slope. But um, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Um, Oftentimes, when people think about lessons, they throw around that word, that wonderful word called karma, which I don't really believe in. I don't believe in karma. I believe in intentions. That's two different things, two different schools of thoughts. But karma is so, like, for some reason associated with reincarnation, in traditions, Buddhism and Hinduism and stuff, and it's connected to reincarnation in such a like tight kind of way, right? And really, what people don't understand is that karma is it's really connected to the fact that our actions have consequences, whether they're positive actions, whether they're negative actions, and especially when there's no action. Even with no action, there will be consequences, right? And that they can, in a sense, influence our future lives,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Right?
And that's, again, I will always bring this up, where you have to have personal responsibility for every thought, word, and action. And if you're not taking responsibility for your actions, your thoughts, and your words, you're not getting anywhere. You're just throwing yourself into victim mode. Why
Yeah.
me? Why me? Why me? Not look what I did. Look where I am.
Karma, karma is not about, according to those religions, karma is not about punishment. I don't know what happened with this lovely human collective of ours, where every time you hear the word karma, it is tied into punishment. Karma in those two religions is meant for you to learn. To learn. So there, and most people don't know that. Most people don't know. They think that the generic definition of karma is what it is, and it's punishment, and Buddhists believe it, and yada. But they don't do their research. Yeah, Buddhists believe in karma, but not in the way that society is making it seem like they believe in it. They believe in the intention behind it. They believe in the fact that it is not punishment. It is to teach you. It is to help you grow spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all those wonderful ways, so that when you reincarnate, maybe there's less heavier lessons in that kind of, circumstances in your life. Maybe you're not going to go through that intense lesson in the next life. That's how it works. But we've somehow twisted karma to be all about punishment and, revenge.
That's
And I
really,
don't
though,
like it.
that's like society, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
I don't like it.
Society would rather punish you than love you.
Yeah.
And it's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
You'd rather judge somebody than help them,
Oh, oh yes,
you know?
100%.
And that says a lot about you. So when you get to a point where you've crossed over, and when you get there, you're going to go through and you're going to experience every single feeling that you made somebody else experience.
I believe that.
Okay.
That I 100% believe.
And so that's where you're
I like
also
that
going
theory.
to be, you're going to be nailing it, right? Like, oh, wow. And I'm talking like whether it's really, really good or really, really
Mm-hmm.
bad. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where, if you don't want to be having a lot of like really hard, deep feelings, you want to be good.
Mm-hmm.
You want to treat people how you want to be treated. And so many people say that they get on their high horse and, oh yeah, this is how I am. But a lot of people aren't like that at all. They'll say that out. It's just like the keyboard warriors, right? People will say this and act like they're so high and mighty, but then turn around and be very judgmental and rude, or say things or do things that are just not
Mm-hmm.
great, and then
Yeah,
wonder why they're not getting ahead.
that's a good point. Why they're not getting ahead? Because that's exactly why.
Yep.
That's exactly why. Um, that actually ties me into something that you said, and I think this is more like this is a new thing, or the term is new. And when I say new, I don't mean this year. I mean like over the last chunk of years, maybe 10 or so years. People call them? They call them soul families, like soul groups. That's what they call them. But it's essentially the theory of, we meet the same souls until we learn the lessons with them, of course. And in one lifetime, they're born as your mother. And then in the next lifetime, they're born as your child. That always, I don't know if I 100% believe that, but I don't disbelieve it. And that's a theory that actually fascinates me. And whenever I think about that, I will sometimes think about the people in my life and see who they possibly could have been in a past life, especially when there's a very heavy lesson attached to them, with my parents, with my siblings, especially, right? Like, I think about these things. And I always find that that's fascinating, that we can choose, not choose, well, maybe, who our parents are.
Yeah.
This soul taught me this, so I'm going to make them my father so they can teach me this. And if I learn it, then in the next lifetime, I'm going to make them my neighbor. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. I like that theory. I like the theory.
Yeah, it is a good theory. If you are interested in that kind of a stuff, there's different people out there. There's one lady that I absolutely love, and she does the very ancient astrology. So she's got the cards and she puts together, and she'll
Real
say,
astrology.
what your,
Yeah.
you know, not necessarily what your relationships were, but she will be able to tell you, did you have a past relationship with this
Mm-hmm.
person? And is
Mm-hmm.
there stuff that is completed? Is there stuff that needs to be completed?
Right.
So a lot of times you're going to get into situations or be with people in this life, to complete stuff that you
Yeah.
maybe didn't get to complete. Like maybe there was like you were, had some kind of a romantic relationship, but you never got to fully,
Get married or something. Yeah.
yeah, like whatever
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
um, you will look at completing that at this time.
Yeah. I like that stuff. I like that stuff. And I don't explore that theory enough, and there's a lot of people that ask me that in my questions. One of the most common ones, I think, I don't even can't even tell you how many times I actually got it last week, which I thought was weird because this episode was coming up,
Oh,
where
yes.
they asked me, is he a karmic, is she a karmic, is she my future wife, was I in a past relationship with them? Again, I will tell them the same thing. I'm not going to tell you that. I don't know. I'm not going to even remotely guess. That's you would know, you can know, right? So that's why I blended in this, I mean, soul family, soul groups, I don't know what people call them, into this episode, because so many people are attached to that now.
Yeah.
And it's worth exploring for some. It is absolutely worth exploring and researching, and reaching out to people like Kim's acquaintance there, to see how they can at least help you piece something together to figure it out on your own, right? Perfect example. She's not going to look at the cards and be like, oh, that was your husband and this is what. She's going to help piece it together so that you can figure it out yourself and close the lesson yourself. She's not going to close the lesson for you.
I can tell you,
No.
these cards that, like, because she uses playing cards or whatever, so that it
Mm-hmm.
can also go in
Yep.
with the different, like, Uranus and things like that. Um, it will actually, like, stay the same, right? So
Yeah.
you, if every time I've done it, my card talking about me is always the same.
Yeah.
I am one
I
of the
believe that.
I'm
Yeah.
one of the brilliant ones, actually.
Yeah.
I'm like, the physicists and things like that. I'm in that soul group. Anyhow, makes me laugh every time I read it. But so then when they do it, it's not going to change. So
Yeah.
that's where I find that it's very informative, because it doesn't matter who you're being read with, their stuff isn't changing and your stuff isn't changing. So when it's talking about you having past lives together, you know that is really um, something.
It was true. It was legit, as young people say. Yeah.
Hmm. And I've had people that I've done that with, and I've had like several past lives with them. And that's, like, this is it. Yeah, no, you've had past lives, and you're working on this or whatever, right? So it's very neat, how it works.
I believe.
And we need to really set aside our logic brains, our,
Yes.
trying to analyze, because you're going to have, you very possibly you're going to have more than one or two people that you've had, these types of relationships with in past lives. So you need to know what you see, what you believe here is just so limited, and so, like, boxed in to what actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
what the vast, like, so many options are.
Yeah.
So don't get stuck in, well, I can't be, this person can't be a past relationship because I had a past relationship with this person. Okay.
People do that though.
And I understand why. It's because you don't have the capacity
Yep.
because you're not there. We're
You're not
here.
there.
If you knew everything and this was all resonating with you all the time, you would just, well, you wouldn't be here anymore. You'd be on the other side helping. So it's just something to remember. Stop pigeonholing everything. Stop trying to
Yes.
make everything work exactly how you think it should work. And kind of use it as a loose Coles notes, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I got a dog who keeps wanting me
That's okay. That's
to.
okay. We're going to dive into Dorothy's story anyway. One of the very first documented cases of reincarnation. I think it was 1905 or 1904 or something. I can't remember, but this is one of the biggest. And I did talk about the Pollock twins, and I did talk about James Langer on the YouTube shorts. So head over there to watch those ones. Those ones are also really really big. This one was actually very fascinating to me because I had heard of the other two a little bit, but I had never heard of this one, which is crazy because this one is one of the most famous ones. So I don't even know what I was researching, but it doesn't matter. I wanted to talk about Dorothy Eady, and those who know about reincarnation and are listening to this episode and have researched it and are really into it probably know exactly the story I'm about to tell because it's so famous and it's so heavily debated, and it is one of the stories that I believe has the most actual physical evidence in a sense of reincarnation, okay? Which I love. I loved this story once I read it. I thought it was just crazy. All right. So this begins in London, all right, in 1904. There you are, okay? When Dorothy was just 3 years old, she suffered a terrible fall down a flight of stairs. Okay? Side note, I did that at the same age. Although I was trying to fly because I had watched Peter Pan and I wanted to fly because I didn't want to be here because it was boring on Earth and I wanted to go to Neverland. So I went to the kitchen and I grabbed salt because I thought it was pixie dust and then I jumped off the stairs. Thought I was going to Neverland. Anyway, back to Dorothy. So her family believed she had died when she fell down the stairs. Doctor was called to the house, but by the time he arrived, Dorothy was recovered. Whether the accidents changed anything or not, her family noticed that she seemed different afterward. Not as rambunctious and more calm and more serious and more quiet, oftentimes deep in thought. So as she grew up, Dorothy would often cry and tell her parents, "I want to go home." The strange thing was she was already home. But she kept insisting that England wasn't where she belonged, even though she never lived anywhere else. She belonged the place where there was sand and there was lots of hotness. When she was about 4 or 5 years old, her parents took her to the British Museum. The moment she entered the Egyptian gallery, something remarkable happened. She got very emotional, extremely emotional, running toward ancient statues, kissing their feet, and refusing to leave. She kept crying and saying, "These are my people, this is it, this is my house, these are my people." Years later, while looking through a book about ancient Egypt, Dorothy saw a photograph of the Temple of Set. She pointed it and asked, "Where are the gardens? Where did the gardens go?" Her question confused everyone because there were no gardens in the picture, okay? Or at the temple. But historians later confirmed that thousands of years earlier, beautiful gardens had once surrounded the temple before disappearing over time. As Dorothy grew a little bit more older, her fascination with Egypt became the center of her life. She learned hieroglyphics, she studied Egyptian history, and eventually moved to Egypt after marrying an Egyptian man. She even took a new name, Mother of Set. What makes her story so unusual isn't just that she loved Egypt, it's that she claims she remembered living there. She remembered being a young temple priestess over 3,000 years ago during the reign of Pharaoh Set I. According to her, she had fallen in love with the pharaoh, became pregnant, and unable to face the consequences under the temple law, took her own life. Okay? A very dramatic story, but it really caught people's attention because of the knowledge she had. She was also very much so tested after she started talking about the fact that she was this priestess. She started to work alongside respected archaeologists and Egyptologists for decades. Those who didn't believe her reincarnation claims often acknowledged that she possessed an extraordinary understanding of the Temple of Set for being an uneducated woman. She reportedly identified locations of ancient structures and features before evacuations confirmed them. Some archaeologists later said her familiarity with the sites was remarkable and unexplainable. But there were skeptics, because there's always skeptics, right? Many historians argued that Dorothy became so knowledgeable because she devoted her entire life to studying ancient Egypt. They believed her memories were the result of incredible passion, exceptional memory, and years of research, not a past life, okay? Others wondered, though, about her childhood accident and the way that her imagination played a role in shaping her identity after that accident, right? But then there's even more people that believe that she was just a genius who remembered another lifetime. Okay? And it's interesting because it's no matter where people stand, everybody had agreed on one thing, that she was, when she died, she was one of the most respected figures for Egyptian archaeology. And it was because of her that I read that she, like her and her contributions and all the people that believed in her and wanted to work with her, she contributed to preserving so much of certain Egypt temples and historical articles and facts and stuff like that. And I thought it was very, very interesting. But it was one of the first cases where people started to kind of talk about if it's possible to live more than one life, right? I've never heard of that story before. Never.
I believe I'm like her because I really think that somebody got the wrong postal code or whatever the heck they were doing when they dropped me in this godforsaken cold country. I should be.
Yeah, you're not even where. Yeah, yeah,
I should be where I need to be. So
yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I
No,
connect
I
that way
believe
with
that
her.
too. Yeah, no, I believe in that stuff. I believe, like, there's somebody that I'm very close with, and this gentleman tells me all the time that, and it's so funny because I'm very drawn to a particular area of the world, always have been, just because I just liked reading about it. I like the culture of it anyway. And this person, they did not know this because they were not in my life when I was a child or a teenager or even in my early 20s. And this person continuously tells me, you know, one of the first things they said to me, this gentleman, was that you don't belong here, you belong over there. And I remember looking at him and be like, I've never even, how do you know that? How do you know that? Because we never had that discussion. And this gentleman says it all the time. And it was weird. So yes, maybe he's part of my soul family or soul connection. I personally, I do believe he is a big part of it. So I do believe in Dorothy's story because I know that, like Kim, I'm not saying I don't like Canada. I like Canada, but something was lost in translation.
Something different.
Something.
The stork was broke. The stork was high. I don't know. Something.
Awesome. I have a question about this.
Okay.
Okay. And this is mostly for you. For you.
Okay.
I had a good friend ask me this. I told her we were doing this. And she asked me about reincarnation with tarot, and I told her how it doesn't work that way. And then so she's like, well, ask him, ask him, ask him.
All right.
So she wants to know, and she's going to be anonymous, even though I'm sure Kim will know who it is. She wants to know, Kim, if whenever you've done mediumship readings, if reincarnation has somehow ever come up in them through like a different source. Like she means like if somebody's trying to connect to a loved one, is that loved one telling that person, you know, this is not your first time here, you were, you know. She
I
wondered.
don't think that it comes really in that way. If you have had past lives with someone or you have been reincarnated, it's something that you're going to know in your soul. So when I do a reading, I can maybe confirm it or kind of have a feeling like, this isn't the first time you've been with this person. It just depends on what kind of information is required at the time, I guess. I have had readings from other mediums who have told me that people have been past lives with me,
Okay.
but I personally focus more on this life and just if they've possibly done it. Because I think a lot of people complicate a lot of their messages. And so I find that kind of getting into that, you're giving them a whole lot more to think about.
Got it.
And it can be just crazy. And then they won't even take like the beautiful golden nuggets of what really
Oh,
matters, opposed
oh.
to like, oh, well, we've been together. Why didn't we make it out? Like,
Yes. No, I,
and
yeah,
they go and
yeah.
focus on other things. So I don't ever make that a part of my reading. If it
Mm-hmm.
comes up, it comes up. But I don't think for me it's really appropriate to give that information because I can't really tell you too much. And I just don't want to muddy the waters of the reading.
Right. Right.
And that's why I personally encourage people to record their readings because then, even then, you can go back and you can listen to it and be like, oh, because you don't hear it the first time because you're so busy, uh, trying to. It's almost like you're trying to when you talk to somebody and you're trying to like got the answer going while they're talking without fully
Got
embracing
it.
it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's all I can really say about that.
I think it's because she wanted to know if because we have these connections in life, and with the grandparent parent, and they pass over, if they can in a mediumship reading confirm that you know,
Yeah, well,
but
they will. Same with your pets, right?
yes,
Uh,
that I know, that I
when you
know.
have the readings of the pets, like my one dog, I've been told like he was another dog that I had, very
That
similar.
was also a fascinating episode. I'm gonna link that one too. We had a pet medium on, and she was amazing. She was. I'm gonna link that episode to
Hmm.
this one too.
Yeah, Amber Say 3. Yeah, she's amazing. I I kind of had some stuff going on this springish, so I'm going to be reaching out to her again and
Yes.
kind of just say hi. And I know she had fun and we really loved her, but know that no past connection is going to make or break any connections you're making here.
That's right. That's right.
Don't rely on them, and because you don't want to live your life on something you don't really know all the details about. If
Oh, 100,
you know
100%. Yes.
because too many people are going to get, why didn't you talk to me, why weren't we, and like, why was he, like, you don't know,
Yes.
you could have been the
Yes.
one who was doing all the problems, right?
Mhm.
And so that's where I think if you're finding I'm having uh, mental health challenges or health challenges or just things like that, that's when you want to go see somebody like the lady Louise I know who is like the belief code practitioner, a certified belief code practitioner, and then they can help you draw out what those situations were, what those relationships were.
Yeah. Speaking of mediumship,
Hmm.
we're going to end this episode on a very exciting note. So, Kim and I promised that when we hit 200 on YouTube, we were going to give away a mediumship session with Still Kim.
Still Kim still.
So, it's going to start. It's running right now. By the time this episode comes out, it will be running on our Instagram, on our TikTok. So head over there. All the links are in the bio of this episode in the description. Um, like, share, comment on the post. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. We don't know when the episode's gonna end, or the episode. We don't know when the contest is
Contest
gonna
is
end.
end. Hmm.
But we'll announce that too once we post it. So share it. It will be up for at least probably a week or two,
We want to
right?
give
Give
you
people.
time to kind of get
Yeah,
your
yeah,
generating.
yeah,
And so is this virtual? So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. We'll work something out to have the
yeah,
reading, okay?
yeah. And we'll
And
work. your time zone. She's really good that way.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't, if you follow, have had readings with me or Nikki or anybody really that's been virtual, it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same, and you guys will love it, and it's very very exciting, and it's our little gift to you. We're gonna do another one at five. What did we say? 4 or 500?
500.
500. We'll do a bigger one at 500. We're putting the pieces together.
Mhm.
Maybe that one will also include some prizes because I have, which I didn't tell Kim yet, because to be honest, I forgot because I just started doing it today. Um, I started working on some merchandise. Okay, so it's not a lot. Maybe for the 500 count, we'll think of something and then we'll throw in some merchandise, some Spirit Cafe session merchandise.
Would be super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. And we absolutely appreciate anybody who has shared, to get us to these numbers. And please keep
Yeah.
doing it.
So appreciative.
In the comments, tag people that you think might be
Yes.
interested.
Becca. Thank Becca. She's
Yes.
commenting on everything.
Becca, yeah. Becca's doing a good
What a
job.
sweetheart.
Yes.
Like, she is commenting on everything. She's not the only one. There's a whole bunch of people also commenting on everything. We're so grateful for them. She's so like wonderful, and shout out to her again. We shouted out to her last year. We're going to shout out to her in this episode too. But honestly, we're so grateful to you guys because I'm going to be honest. I did not think we were going to get to 200 by the end of June. Kim did. I did not. I
Jeez,
don't
the
know why.
power of
I
manifestation.
I know I should have known better.
I don't
And
know.
then I have to do a big shout out to Kim because I get really obsessed with my career and goals, so I had to stop checking YouTube every hour. So Kim did it for me for like 4 or 5 days. So thank you, Kim.
You're welcome. And it's really exciting for us to see this because again, we did
Yeah.
this. We're doing this as a collective,
Yeah.
for the collective. We're not just doing it for Nikki and I. It's not like we're raking in the cash or anything. Like it costs us money.
Yeah. Definitely
So
not.
we enjoy it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Definitely.
if we can get this out and make this something even bigger and better,
Uh-huh.
we would love that.
Because it's informative, and it's
Hmm.
informative and it's fun, and that's our whole goal, was to make it informative and fun, like, so you guys would learn and we would laugh, and it wasn't so stingy.
We want people to have a safe place to get accurate information, that they can resonate with. Now, I can say, I'm sure there's people who've listened to us and said, like, okay, you're full of it. That's totally fine, right? And if you believe something else, oh my gosh, please, like,
Yeah.
only go with what resonates with you. Don't, you know, write off somebody because it's something that you don't believe, or think that we think that your ideas or whatever are not right. It's just not something we resonate with. So please know that anything you get, when you get a reading, anything, just keep what resonates with you and let the rest
Yes.
go.
Yeah, yeah. And like Kim said, if there's a topic you guys want us to talk about, let us know. We will. Even if it's a topic that maybe Kim and I don't 100%, we believe in, but you believe in it. It's a part of this spirituality that Kim and I don't resonate with, but we'll still talk about it. We'll still talk about it because we talk about everything. Whether we believe it or not, it's information. It's a good discussion. So if there's something that you want to talk about, it doesn't matter if Kim and I have said, it's not something we believe in. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it if there's people who want to hear about it, because that's what this podcast is about, right?
And I think I found the answer. Hold on. This is our 46th episode.
Oh, our 46. 4 away from 50, and the 50 is going to be a big one, but we haven't figured that out yet. Another thing on the to-do list.
And we hope that you're enjoying our little videos. We're enjoying doing them,
Yeah.
and I'm slowly getting back into them. So I will be getting some more out
Yes.
this week.
There's going to be more for Kim. Kim's going to put more. She had to take a break, but she's going to put a whole bunch more on soon.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for this episode. We will see you next week. Stay cool if you're in a part of the world that is on fire. Okay? Because, geez.
Keep looking for the arc, the arc blueprints, because I think the rest of us, we gonna need a boat.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll come get you.
Okay,
I'll
come
come
get
get
me.
you.
We'll go on a cruise.
Okay, guys, have a phenomenal week, and we'll see you next week.
Hey,
Bye.
bye.